10-14, and I got 10-13 here, but maybe I won't spend a whole lot of time on that again. Maybe just kind of set it up because we've done the math, right? But it's setting up with the hypotheses and whatnot. Then I'll show you a few things or tell you a few things about yours. Hopefully that'll make it a little bit easier. But I've got 13, the mean income per person in the United States, 40 grand. Distribution of the income follows normal distribution. Random sample of 10 residents of Wilmington, Delaware had a mean of 50 grand with a standard deviation of 10 grand. At the 5% level of significance, is that enough evidence to conclude that residents of Wilmington, Delaware have more income than the national average? So my mu and my alternate hypothesis then is that mu is greater than 40 grand. And my null is that mu, I'm missing my mu in there, is less than or equal to 40 grand. Okay, so I put my stuff in, again, got my normal things here. My n is 10, my mean for my sample is 50 grand, my standard deviation is 10 grand, my significance 0.05. I look up my t value again. Okay, 10 minus 1 is going to be 9 for my degrees of freedom. Single tail, 5 significance, one tail, 0.05, 9, 1.833. Okay, is my t value that I'm comparing against. And then my mu is 40 grand. So I do the math, right? Boom. I come up with 3.16, which is greater than, so I reject it. Okay, I reject the null hypothesis. Okay, and I conclude that the average is greater than 40,000. Now, your guys' is it's just giving you some data, and then you're going to have to do a few things, right? So download your data file. Got to remember a few things from the past. Okay, it builds on this. So what's the information that you need? Well, again, you need this information up here, right? It tells you what your sample size is. Okay, gives you that as 20. But then you have to calculate the mean of those 20 samples. Okay, you also have to calculate the standard deviation of those 20 samples. Remember, and it's fine to use the computer version, the Excel version, to find that standard deviation. But remember, you got to use the sample one. Okay, don't use the population one. Use the sample standard deviation. And your significance is also 0.05. Okay, and you'll have to look up your t value, right, with a 20 as your sample size. So can the watchdog agency conclude the mean number of complaints per airport is less than? Okay, so you should be able to write up your hypotheses then. Okay, look up your t-value. What assumptions necessary before conducting a test of the hypothesis? You have to assume that, and this is for anyone, so I'm giving you the answer to A, right? You have to assume that the distribution, right, the population distribution or the sample distribution follows a normal distribution, right? Okay, and it does ask you guys to plot the number of complaints per airport and frequency distribution, and I will show you, how to do that. I guess basically, I'm gonna have to. I'll get rid of some of this stuff here, so that I can do that. All right, so I just made some random stuff. Mine's between 0 and 5. Obviously, your guys is take the higher and the lower. I think your lowest one's 10. Your highest is 16, if I'm not mistaken. So you're going to have from 10 to 16, okay? And then your numbers, and put them in a, you will have downloaded the data file, so it's probably going to be in one. So you could set this one up next to it or off someplace else. It doesn't matter. And then remember, we use data, and we use data analysis. It asks you to make either a frequency distribution or a dot plot. And for me, this is just the easiest way. A frequency distribution, also a histogram. Okay, so do your data analysis, hit OK. Your input range is your data. Okay, your bin range then is basically your, the range. How's that? Okay, and you can or you don't need to put labels. Your output range is just where you want it to show up, so you gotta make sure you kind of change that, and then click on a spot. Okay, and then make sure you come down and do the chart input. You have to have that checked, okay, or else it won't do you the chart. Okay, my histogram was up there, but I can grab it now. Mine doesn't look like it really follows a normal distribution, I would say. Hopefully your guys will a little more closely follow a normal distribution. Okay, so that's how you have it, just as a reminder of how to do those. But then your C is that you have to conduct a test of the hypothesis and interpret the results. So make sure that you actually state your hypothesis and go through the process like we did up here.